Hey everyone, Necromancer 1040 here. Yeah, it's been a while since I've made a kind of like a discussion slash analysis video so far. But I just really wanted to take a time and just kind of discuss the band list that just happened recently. I've really been meaning to discuss it for a while, especially that I have a few kind of personal hits of mine, but I'll get into that. But yeah. I know it's been overdue for a while, so let's get into it. The first is the elephant in the room, kind of addressing that. Orchists and Sky Strikers, really. I'm not going to go into too much detail on like each card that was hit on the ban list, just for time's sake. But I am going to focus on like the main hits, such as Orchists and Sky Strikers. So Orcus and Sky Strikers were mainly Orcus Harp Horror and Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. So with that, it's kind of like a twofold hit against the pure decks themselves, the pure versions, just pure Orcists and pure Sky Strikers. And it really does make it almost impossible for Orcus Sky Strikers to kind of fuse together as we've seen in the meta scene as of late and become that super meta deck essentially. Um, I'm not saying that it can't be possible for the that deck to possibly form again, but it's certainly going to take some more time for it to kind of get down its strategy and kind of become dominant again. So the Orcust Harp Horror hit basically just stops Orcusts from basically summoning from their deck and getting their Orcus monsters out onto the field. Um, yeah, there were other hits like Ib the World Chalice just this year. That also I've seen that in a few Orcus decks, and so yeah, that ultimately slows them down too. Something that kind of that took me off guard was Brilliant Fusion. I wasn't too sure why they banned Brilliant Fusion here. I mean, it wasn't seeing too much competitive. I mean, not really any competitive success. When it was at 3, it saw its prime. It was at its prime pretty much. But that's kind of weird that Brilliant Fusion is on the same uh, ban list as Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, being that Sky Striker Mobilize Engage is responsible for basically Sky Strikers drawing another card from their deck and just basically adding consistency from their deck. But yeah, that's kind of strange to see. Don't mind the car. I know it bothers me too. But another thing that I guess I kind of saw coming was Outer Entity Azathoth. Uh, Azathoth has been in and out of ban lists so far, so I thought he was probably gonna get banned too. Tempest Magician, it was an FTK enabler. I saw that coming. Definitely saw the Harp Horror hit too. But Salamangreat, Mega Stalio, that makes sense. I don't know why people were saying like Salamangreats can't are kind of have like fallen from grace just because of that hit. I don't know, like Salamangreats just took like a very brief hit in this previous ban list. It's not like they're totally done. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing something, but it just the Salamangreat Murder hit is it doesn't seem like it's a deal breaker for them in that sense. Something I guess that kind of makes sense, but I wasn't expecting is Danger Nessie. That does kind of throw kind of a wrench into the Danger Thunder Dragon strategy, which is that's another deck that got hit too. But Danger Nessie being like one of the most accessible Danger monsters allows you to search your monsters. So that's what makes sense. Dino Wrestler Pankratops, I really don't see why that was hit. Um, Everyone was side decking that for the most part, and I don't know. That's kind of a weird hit on Konami's standpoint. From Konami's standpoint, Servant of Endymion makes sense. Um, I guess it's part of Konami's kind of attempt to kind of tear down all these meta decks. Um, I guess they heard everyone's kind of plight and saying like, oh, this format's very stale. So yeah, I guess they hit pendulums in that regard too. Um, Also, Electromite's another hit to the pendulum strategy. Yeah, Heavy Metal Fool's Electromite. That was a huge hit to them, so they're really going to have to adapt around that, especially. Card Demise, that's a hit to another not so favored deck in this format, True Dracos, along with the Dragonic Diagram. Definitely makes it more difficult. True Dracos, although they do pump out a bunch of monsters onto the field, they do have very weird, clunky hands at points, and stuff like Cards of Demise and Dragonic Diagram definitely did help. So it does kind of make sense that they also hit something like Into the Void. Uh, Into the Void, it did make sense because it just grants you access to that one extra card, especially if you have a bunch of cards in your hand that are kind of like a mismatch. So you can kind of, in essence, use those three cards that are mismatched to kind of get you another card with Into the Void. Uh, Something that shocked me so much to see back is Pot of Avarice. That really makes no sense to me. Uh, Pot of Avarice, yeah, if you guys don't know what it does, you return 5 monsters from your graveyard to your deck and you draw 2. It's a strictly better Pot of Desires. I mean, not so strictly, but for the most part, it is better because I don't know. There isn't a meta deck out there that can't just pump their graveyard full of monsters and not benefit from that. It's to me that just seems insane. Um, which I mean, which brings me to the next hit that Konami made. They hit Thunder Dragon Colossus, which I saw that coming, but they outright banned it. Why? Why bring back something like Pot of Avarice, but ban something like Thunder Dragon Colossus? I mean, I get it shuts down your searchability and it's hard to destroy, but I feel like putting it at 1 would have been the more balanced uh, route that Konami could have gone, but I guess Konami was just more out for tearing down this meta scene, I guess, and just having a hard reset, especially with the new master rules being put in place. Um, so it's crazy to see that Colossus is banned, but Pot of Avarice is now unbanned. So I mean, you can only have one copy of it. I mean, at least there's that, but another draw card that got hit was Sekka's Light. That was kind of out of nowhere, along with Red Reboot. Those two are kind of, I don't know, in my opinion, they're kind of odd. Um, Red Reboot, I mean, not many people use back row that much. It's like, so it didn't. I don't know. Maybe Konami is planning something with the format in the future where Reboot's going to be a major problem. But as I see it right now, it doesn't really do much in terms of that. Um, but True King Lysolgium, I still don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. That basically unbanning that basically means dinosaurs are going to be at least in the competitive scene. Um, yeah, because we also have Miscellaneous Swords that's been off the ban list for a while now. So it's interesting to see that come back in full force, especially with the Thunder Dragon Dino format. People say that pure Thunder Dragons are probably going to be dead, but I don't know. I don't think that's it's going to be true. I mean, it's going to take a lot more than just hitting Colossus to take down Thunder Dragons. They do special summon like crazy. They search like crazy, and they activate their search effects fairly easily and without much issues in general. They can still, I mean, people forget that you still have an extra deck. You can summon more than just Colossus. Yeah, it is harder to get to your combo extensions without Colossus, but I don't know. It doesn't. That's not like, in my opinion, that's not like the end all for Thunder Dragons. But yeah, this was kind of meant to be almost like I guess like a summary of the ban list. I wasn't trying to get too deep into the nitty gritty of it, just for time's sake, and just I'm sure like you've seen a bunch of other videos like this, but this is just kind of like a more of a quick, easy kind of like a rundown of the January uh, 2020 ban list for this format. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I guess I'll make a more in-depth discussion about basically what this ban list entails in the future, especially with the new master rules coming up. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in another video in the future. And if you'd like to support my content, you don't have to. You don't have to, but it's a much appreciated, and only if you want to. You can support me on Patreon, and it really just helps bring content to the channel. So yeah, I really do appreciate your guys watching and being interested in my and just my content in general. And thank you for your support. But with that, um, yeah, I'll catch you in the next video, and hopefully cars don't interrupt the next video. All right, bye.